This is Julie.
Hey, calendar, what's my morning like?
Julie's about to have a long day.
At 9 a.m., soccer carpool. 9:10, purchase birthday card. 9:05, dry cleaning.
Did you just go backwards?
I'm sorry, I can't fit that question into your schedule. 9:15, cry for a little bit.
For days that won't end, let Schwann's help. With Schwann's, you can get delicious meals that go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. Visit today at schwanns.com.
Right now, you can get both Sprint's unlimited plan and the all-new Samsung Galaxy S10 included for just $35 per month per line for 5 lines. All you need is approved credit and an 18-month lease. No trade-in required. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1.
Phone $15 a month after $22.50 a month. Credit apply within 2 bills. If canceled earlier, remain a balance due. Unlimited basic after $630.20. Pay $32 per month per line for 5 lines with auto pay. Data deprioritization during congestion. Speed maximums. Use rules and restrictions apply.
On this, tell me when you want me to go. I don't mind over talking or yeah, I don't mind that. Hi, this is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you from the not the Catch restaurant, the Blackwater Siren.
Come to you from some damn place.
I was so relaxed for episode 105. Should I stay or should I go? The classic title to a Clash song. Or the classic Clash song, I guess it would be. But at the 1-year anniversary was yesterday. Of Irma. That was hit 9:10 a.m. on Cudjoe Key. And right now, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia are facing up to Florence, which is fluctuating between a Category 3 and 4 right now, and 5.
Maybe a 5. And we thought because of the first anniversary and the things that we're going to, we're at the peak of the hurricane season. There's stirring out there. There's Isaac and the one with the H, right? Yeah.
The H one's going to go up the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, that's a fish storm.
That's a fish storm. And Isaac's hugging the in between the Leeward Islands and it's
that's a scary. Those southern storms. You're never sure because they could turn north early. They could recurve, come back around. You're just never sure where they go.
Well, we're going to rehash the evacuation and the hurricane and aftermath over these next 2 shows, and so let's harken back to August 30th. Harken back to August 30th. 2017 last year. That's when Irma developed as a tropical wave off the coast of Africa, near the Cape Verde Islands. The favorable conditions allow for Irma to rapidly intensify into a Category 3 hurricane it's called Saffir-Simpson? Saffir-Simpson wind scale by late August 31st. So that's 1 day from tropical wave to Category 3.
Oh, yeah. It blew. Man, you got hot water out there? Bang.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when it's deep, when the water's deep, it's closer. When it gets close, that's the reason why it intensifies so quickly out. But the water was so hot in 2017, even in the depths of the Atlantic it was. On September 3rd, now this is what I looked at all the models. On September 3rd, that's when all the models started having the cone, the southern part of the cone enveloped South Florida, and then it kind of showed it going from South Carolina to Florida, and from the 3rd on, the forecast models kept on moving closer and closer to the Florida Keys. Kept on moving south, and it fluctuated in those days between 2 and 5, especially when it got so quickly across the Atlantic, and then on the.
And that was a big.
It was on the 4th. It was on the 4th when we saw. It was September 4th when you saw that it was the Key Largo and south was the center of the cone, and even then, every day, if I recall correctly, and
it still moved. It bounced.
It bounced. It kept on. From hour to hour, you think it could go left. It could go right.
Every 8 hours. Oh, whenever they do the update.
Whenever did the update, yeah. But that's what you got to worry about. This is where I'm speaking to people in
South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, you got to stay on top of it because especially your coastal islands, the outer banks, right on the coast.
Well, the banks get hammered on a regular basis.
I know, but you got to be on the ball there. You got to be ready to go way before.
I forget which one it was, but this is probably 8-10 years ago. My nephew Jordan was living out on the Outer Banks, and they ended up.
They named the one that was.
I can't remember what it
Hugo.
was. Was it Hugo? No, that was the one that hit Charleston.
Okay.
This was I can't remember the name, but they ended up putting their boat back in the water to get over to the house that they were living in because the road had washed out.
Oh, shit.
So they came down, and luckily the house was okay.
Well, you got to be ready. Yeah, I mean, we're going to rehash what we did, and we'll circle back what happened. But so it's September 3rd, and it's approached, and then evacuation orders started being issued on Tuesday from the lower Keys. Yep. And here we are in Key Largo. Now, Bill Wissinger and his wife, Sandy. I was going to go Sandra.
You can call her Sandra.
Okay, Sandra. Bill and Sandra, they're adults, so they can make their decisions for themselves. But and I'm not trying to think.
We were set both ways.
You were set both ways, but
I had everything set up to stay.
But I mean, your structure was concrete,
concrete, elevated concrete home, not near the water, up by US 1 in an flood zone.
Okay.
I had 100 gallons of gas, 3 generators, food for 30 days. I was going to be covered.
You were like the survival guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, of course, I'm the survival guy.
You know what? I'm not the survival guy, but I'm a thinker, and I thought about what I would need, and I had at that time Sky was 10 years old, and I had my little dog and my wife and her sister, and I thought I couldn't.
Fuck no.
No way. I mean, and my brother-in-law was staying. And he had, we could have walled up there. He did not have a generator, but he did have.
You got to have a generator.
He
man.
had. He had a zombie apocalypse. Maybe he did have a generator.
You got to have a big enough generator down here.
You have to have a minimum of 100 gallons of fuel and stuff like that.
You got to have a big enough generator to run your fridge and at least AC in 1 or 2 rooms, man. Because down here it's just miserable without AC.
No. Or a fan. You know, you could live.
You got to be able to run AC. You got to be able to run a couple portable units somewhere.
Well, people lived a long time without AC. Bill.
Yeah, that's before everybody got pussified.
Why,
dude? And this is me talking. You know me. I don't want to fucking deal without AC. After I go sweat and fucking run the chainsaw.
I lived on a sailboat for
after I sweat
a while, so I don't really.
After I sweat and run the chainsaw for 8 hours, I want to go take.
You're right.
I want to go take a shower and I want to go hang out in the AC, man.
Okay, so there were decisions that needed to be made on Wednesday.
We talked about the prepping stuff, but I had the car full. Sandy had a big old Explorer at the time, and we had all of our documents and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Plus, I had all the car carriers for all the cats and the dog.
So you consolidated everything.
So we had everything ready, and up until I decided to stay, it was still up in the air because we were looking at it. Because if it was going to come straight across us, because luckily where we are in the Keys, at this point we can leave a couple hours before and boom, get out. Because the traffic by that time is gone.
Well, I'm gonna talk about my experiences. That I'd like to hear about your decision making process.
Okay, go ahead.
You did.
Yeah,
you're talking about it right now. I like that. You had your stuff set, ready to go.
We had the plan either way, and when it kept bumping south and bumping south and bumping south, the more it bumped south, the more I was comfortable staying.
You made your decisions due to experience. I had lack of experience, but I try to use logic, and in this instance, it did work. In this instance, it did. It may not. I think maybe I got advice from people.
The problem is if you're on, the guys down in Key West. Hey, how you doing? The guys down in Key West is kind of like the guys in the outer. It's kind of like the guys down in the Outer Banks where there's only so many roads out. There's only so much time. You've got to plan. If you haven't left 12 to 14 hours before the storm's gone, you're not getting anywhere because all the traffic on the causeways and all the bridges are going to be locked down. So you're going to be stuck.
Yeah.
So in situations like that, you really have to plan ahead because that decision's got to be made way before I made mine.
Well, on Wednesday the 6th, I put up the storm shutters. You know, this is the process we go through. You always hear they do on the radio. I think on television and radio.
Actually, the
talk
funniest
about billing your storm supplies. Now that's for people that are stuck behind. Now, if you're evacuating, obviously you cannot carry everything. Like fill your tubs up. It's like don't fill your tubs up if you're leaving. It's ridiculous and stuff like that.
No,
so
but, dude,
so what I did is I put on
gasoline.
my storm shutters. I filled the vehicles with every vehicle with gas, even though the one I left behind.
And if you have a little tiny trailer hitch on your little tiny car, get one of those Harbor Freight rack things and put another 10 gallons on there. Because, dude, trust me, you might get up 350 miles up the road, and there might not be gas up there because all these people have been sucking these stations dry.
No, I just realized the foolishness of trying to stock the amount of food that I would need in the house that I have because I would never hole up there in a storm. The house is a good house. It's cinder block,
right?
But it's on the ground. It's 12 feet up. You've seen where it is.
Yeah, you're in an X zone too.
Pretty high. What?
I think you're in an X zone.
Okay, but I
X
still
zone
think the route.
For those of you who don't know, is a non-flood zone in the Keys. It's how they rate stuff. And if you're in an X zone, you're pretty much, unless we're talking 15 foot of surge, you're probably okay.
Well, the thing I'd have to worry about is the roof, if for a tornado, because tornadoes are sparked up there. So, because of the peculiarities of the Keys, we needed. I felt on the 6th that we needed to evacuate. And then Thursday at 9 a.m., all the models zeroed in on the upper Keys. And so me and the missus, we started I told you about the gas. I did that. I had the shutters up. We decided that we were going to evacuate. We emptied perishables from our refrigerator. We cleaned it out. We put, those things that you don't worry about, like jellies or anything like that wouldn't perish once the power went off. Because we intentionally, when we evacuate, we shut off the power. We also went out to the water, to the street, and shut off the water. And then at the last final act, after we packed 7 days of clothes, all the documents we need, birth certificates and things that needed to say who we were, and all the things that we necessarily need. When you're leaving a burning building, you got to think how much. I mean, burning buildings are much more foreshortened time for leaving, but when you're leaving, you got to think, what absolutely do you need to leave with, right? When you're leaving, evacuating, you got to think, the minimum I need? And it's all the documentation, like birth certificates, passports, identification. But luckily, with the cloud storage, you don't even have to worry about any of your zip drives or anything like that nowadays and stuff like that.
Well, no.
But we when we evacuated, I told them that I
had my laptop,
emptied my perishables for my thing. All the electronics that had things like laptops.
I had my laptop and I had physical backups because I still do some IT work. I'm trying to get myself fired from most of these places, but still do some IT work. I had the physical copies of their drives with me.
We have iPhone, iCloud backup, and I had.
I'm talking about big databases for insurance companies and doctors' offices and shit like that. I had all that. I got those out of my little fire safe and had those stashed with me, and I was going to take those with me.
We had a total of 240 gig storage on cloud. We had the items that we thought we needed, all the electronics. I packed up. We're taking one vehicle. It was Abby, Sky, my sister-in-law Yolanda, Roxy, a week's worth of clothes, some dry food in case God forbid, we were stuck on the road. Food for Roxy, our dog.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? We're not assholes. People that are abandoning their animals, man. How the fuck are you going to abandon that? If you have an animal, if you're not eating, obviously, if you're not going to take cattle that you're going to eat and stuff like that, shit like that, because
but
you're
if
going to
they're indoor house pets, they need to come with you.
We took 4 cases of water. We didn't know what we were thinking. We took 2 handles of vodka. I'm going to take
2
boxes of Cabernet, 6 bottles of assorted wines.
You know the funny thing about the whole storm? I had like four cases of Bud Light, and I didn't touch a beer for like, I don't know, till like a week and a half after.
Are you serious? You didn't have a beer during
Dude, no, I'm sitting there. I'm running the damn chainsaw.
We were drinking the
I'm
whole
running
time.
the damn chainsaw all day. I'm going over and helping people and cleaning out shit. I was busy. I'd get home. I'd hit the shower. Boom. I wanted to go to bed.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't have a beer for 5-6 days after that damn storm.
Okay, so let's talk to the listeners about our evacuation plan. Now, if you know the Keys, just think of it. It's just one road out. Now, once you hit mainland, you have your options when you get up there. You got the Turnpike, and then a little further up, you got 95. You got Chrome Avenue.
Turnpike, you got Chrome
Avenue. So
you got 27 once you get a little farther north. You got a whole lot of different surface roads to go on.
Fortunately, because I was always concerned, we took my wife's car, and I bought the premium package for OnStar, and I called them while we were on the stretch.
I remember that. They got you guys a hotel and everything.
Holy shit, man. They did. I mean, I don't know how I told them I wanted to go to West Coast, Mid-State.
Good
Lakeland. I once heard that Lakeland was a high point in Florida, and that's what I kind of set on. And they set us up on the Lakeland Terrace Hotel in the center of town. But we got in contact with them, and I gave the OnStar representative, who already had my credit card. I gave him the credit. I said, yes, please give my credit information. It's an emergency.
I pop them over. You have my permission. Book my room. Do that. Do what you need to do.
And then they told me the room was only available the Saturday. At that time, landfall was early Sunday morning, like in 3 or 4 o'clock. It slowed a little bit, I think. I'm not exactly sure. But Saturday, that means we would have had to leave on Saturday or live in the lobby.
Remind me to tell you about the Luke story.
Okay. So I jumped on the reservation anyway because I got Abby to bring up the hotel on the thing, and we looked at it, and it looked beautiful and stuff like that. So we went up. We got up as far as you can, and it was unusual because we're there on Thursday. We started at 12 noon. The traffic wasn't that bad. When we hit 27, holy shit, there was nothing. I don't know if people left earlier or later.
No, nobody thinks about 27. The Turnpike was a standstill till West Palm.
I went up 27, and there was nothing going on. We drove up. We were there for hours, and then along the way we decided we had to walk Roxy. And there's a little-known law here. I mean, I guess you learn this during the evacuation. You're allowed to evacuate with a weapon. Even if you don't have a concealed carry permit, you're allowed to bring it. And even if in Florida, so the gun laws are so loose, you can just get a gun for someone to go.
Yeah, here.
And I went to
don't worry about it.
My brother-in-law, and he gave me a .38 special revolver. I've never fired before. So while we stopped for a walk, we were in a marshy area, and I walked off a couple hundred yards. And I'm thinking it wasn't – they didn't hear – they heard a couple cracks, but it's no big deal. But I went off to marshy area, and I fired into a berm, a dike that was away, and it was clear. I waited for a clear thing to see. Yeah, I centered it and see how close is 60 yards going to hit. And I said, holy shit, the 38 is –
Some
38s. What?
Some 38s are good.
This sucker really – I mean – the first 3 shots they put went right in. If it was a person, I would have hit or been near the person. I fired 3 shots because it went right in. I would have winged them at least in that.
Would at least got their attention.
Yeah. And after I was done, I'm emptying out the dead shells, and I hear this yelling, and there's this guy fishing. He's sitting on a concrete drain, and he thought he was he thought I was going to off him.
You're fine. You're fine, buddy.
Yeah. I just walked. So we
got to the hotel. Thing still works.
We got to the hotel 5:30, checked in. It had a beautiful bar, a restaurant, white tablecloths, real fancy restaurant. I wish it wasn't that fancy. I don't even think we ate there because we didn't know how. I'm a bartender. We couldn't just start spending cash right away because I wasn't earning any money. Because we're not people. We don't take vacations where we get paid. Yep. We don't get paid vacations.
Yeah, no. We take a vacation. Musicians, same way. You take a vacation, you better have some money in the bank because you ain't getting paid.
Yeah, there's no fallback. But eventually, the girls were going up to the room again and settle in, and I went back to the desk to discuss the reservation. And I said, after a little investigation, I said, how long you have a booked hotel this weekend? They go, yes. And I said, how long were these reservations in for? And they said for at least a month. And I said, do you think they're going to show up? Can you put me on a wait list?
Wait list or a will call list or something like that.
And it wasn't until like 10 o'clock. We go back and forth. Nice. They were very friendly. They were very helpful. And they were very helpful about it. And we went, hey, Sether. Hey, how you guys doing? They were very helpful. They're very accommodating. And actually, during the evacuation, most hotels allowed pets, even if they weren't a pet. And our dog, luckily, was very well house-trained, tiny little dog. So when I heard my friends were scrambling to find rooms over the weekend, I thought maybe hotels should be a little more proactive about researching previous reservations. Because most of the because online they have 24-hour cancellation fees and cancellation policy. So people would wait. Even though you're from outside the area, they didn't cancel their flights. They didn't cancel their travel plans.
Right.
Now, listen, folks, this is a message we could do. If you are scheduled to go to Wilmington, and I apologize to Wilmington right now, do not go. What you can do right now is cancel your plans. Cancel your flights. I apologize to businesses if you think you're losing money, but those hotel rooms inland, and some even ones because people have precarious living conditions. People live on boats and things like that. If you're stuck in Wilmington or some other coastal place, a hotel that's on the beach may be a better place to stay than just a little bungalow.
Well, they'll have most of those closed down. Of course, they'll probably have a skeleton staff there, and most of the time.
I mean, that's a building to stay in, though.
Yeah.
Better than.
Yeah, most of the time, if you show up and start banging on the door, they're probably not going to kick you out.
No, they're not. But you know what? When people are evacuating, if they hear that it's booked up, they'll continue north. And that's why we had people staying in Kentucky, Alabama, and all these different places. Remember the evacuation?
Dude, Albert fucking evacuated Georgia, never came back.
Yep.
I lost a guitar player. I had to put together a whole new damn band. Damn.
How about Holly? Holly ended up going to Alabama. She went all the way up the state, all the way out. Now, listen, Lakeland is even halfway up the state. There were plenty of hotels. There were hotels in the area. They're sissy.
It's about 12 hours to Pensacola.
Yep.
And that's just on the other side of the Alabama line.
Yep. So I bet there were hotels in Homestead that were that had available rooms. But when you hear they cannot, because on your computer system, if there's a reservation, that room is not available.
Right.
And people aren't nimble in their thinking. Right? Like, when was this reservation taken? Is this a new reservation? If it's a new reservation, it could be someone that came in there, right? Or later. So I would strongly urge the people in North Carolina, South Carolina, that work in the hotels or don't work in the hotels. If you're looking for a hotel, ask questions when you're looking for a place. Pick your place. Pick high ground. Pick away from the wind. There's all sorts of places that got wind to close. If you're waiting till the last minute.
This is the last minute.
For them?
Yeah. What are we here? We're Tuesday.
Tuesday and Thursday, Friday. Oh, this is pretty much when we evacuate.
They're thinking landfall Friday morning?
This is the same time.
Yeah. No, they're thinking landfall Friday at 2. I think the last one I saw.
Thank you.
Hey,
Jim's here.
Jim brought beer.
Say hi, Jim.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing dandy.
Good.
Good breathing. I'm a happy
There you go. He's a happy boy. Hubba, hubba, hubba. Thanks, Seth.
Thanks, Seth. And Trish, yeah. And Trish. Hey, so what we're talking about, we're about 2 days out then.
I'll take a look.
Well, no, we're 3 days out. 2.5 days out. Right?
Let me pull it up here. Let me go NOAA. There we go. Hurricane Center. Let me look at the latest chart here.
We're looking at today. Well, while he's doing that, we on Thursday. Okay, so it's 3 days away from the hurricane. Thursday night, we were settled in. We're in Lakeland.
Let me get my glasses.
Lakeland. We're the hotel that OnStar set us up in. It's a block away from the center of Lakeland, Bill. There's bars and restaurants. We ate in this great little pizza place, Italian place. We hung out Saturday, had cocktails on the patio. They had happy hour at the bar.
Ooh,
so
damn.
Happy hour at the bar, yeah, right. And they had a beautiful little wooden bar inside that with that. I mean, it's the way it was set up in there. This place must have been from the 30s or something like that. And well, it had to be post 30s. Because no one built a hotel like that pre-prohibition.
There we go. We're looking at 8 a.m. Friday.
8 a.m. Friday. So about
you're
64 hours, 63 hours from now. So if you're in the cone, it behooves
you're
you.
going to start seeing winds probably 24 hours before that.
The tougher it is for you to leave, the smaller the egress is for you to leave. Small causeways, lots of high population, low availability of highway, wherever you're going, wherever you need to go to be safe. Because you don't want to go into the lowlands, right?
No.
Because they're expecting up to 18 inches of rain.
Well, hell, even in the mountains, well,
in the mountains even worse sometimes because the ravines, right? Unless you're on the high ground.
Sandy's parents live up at east of Asheville, up in western North Carolina.
Yeah.
And a few years back, one of the storms came across and dumped, 2 foot of rain on them. And, dude, they couldn't get off their mountain for 3 days until they got the backhoe or the front end loader down there to clean out the rock slides.
Well, just for that, it depends on your position on the mountain. If you're at the bottom of the mountain near a ravine, if you're part of where the water goes, right?
Yep.
That's where you got to watch out. If you're not, if you're on a high point and you could tough it out.
Well, that's the same thing. They had no problem there. He's got he's got the same mind view as I do. He's got enough food for a month at all times. He's got a big 20 kW that'll run the whole house. Runs on propane. He's got a gazillion gallon propane tank buried back there, so he's fine.
So I'm trying to tell these people what they expect. So that's if you have those things, you're on you have a structure that's above code.
Yeah, being stuck on the mountain for a week wasn't his issue. It's just
it's getting out.
I'm getting bored. I want to get my ass in town.
You have medical conditions and things like that. You got to watch out for that. But Thursday night, Friday, we're waiting. And it's just getting closer and closer. Saturday,
Friday morning,
you start seeing it.
You're going to talk Friday morning. They're talking about it hitting, and Thursday morning you'll probably start seeing decent winds and rain.
And when it hit on, they said the landfall was 9:10 a.m. We started seeing down here. Bill started seeing, and that's when on Saturday I started calling up Bill and Chris Yulin and David Kay, and Bill started telling us about the winds.
Yeah, we were already getting good winds Saturday.
Getting good winds, and then we're getting storm surge.
I had everything done Friday
we were doing
night.
And if you want to, go back to those
actually,
podcasts.
I finished up
on the 9th, on the 8th and the 9th.
I finished up Luke's. Okay, and this is a cautionary tale for all you people out there that have storm shutters and all that. The time to put your storm shutters up is probably now. Don't wait until the day before and realize that you don't have all the connectors and the rails aren't mounted.
Oh, yeah.
Because I went over to Luke's house at fucking...
There were no connectors and all?
8 o'clock on fucking... Friday night. Because Kim called me because Luke was trying to put up storm shutters, and Luke's not the most fantastic guitar player, but not the most mechanical person you ever want to deal with. So he's got none of the clips to put the shutters in place. Some of the rails weren't mounted. So I walked over there with all my shit, my big old hammer saws and Tapcons and all that shit.
You know what? I've lived down here only 11 years, but I put up shutters 5 times. So I got used to it.
Yeah.
And finding the fittings and all that stuff.
But
I did it. You do it. You need the washers. You just can't put a screw on a hole that's slightly bigger than the hole. You have to have the washer there to hold it in place.
So I walked down with all my shit, and luckily I got all this stuff because I just finished doing like my house and a dozen other houses.
Mine was done on Wednesday, and some guy at the KLI, Key Largo, the hardware store, said, "What are you doing? We don't do it on that. We don't do it until right before." I go, "Listen, if you're evacuating tomorrow, I'm prepared to evacuate tomorrow. See what happens. We wake up on Thursday. We see where the models are. If the models, which was, you know what? It was foolhardy either way. I should have just gone anyway. Because it's still, even if it looked like it was going to go east of us or west of us, I still should have went."
Well, I had friends evacuate to Fort Myers, and they got hammered.
Marco Island took the center of it after that.
Yeah, they got hammered.
Yep.
My friend Pam, she and her husband went up to their daughter's house up there.
Yeah.
And I helped them put their shutters up down here, and they showed up just in time to help her daughter put her shutters up, and they re-evacuated once they did their initial evacuation.
Well,
but back to the cautionary tale. Make sure all your shit works before you go set it up, like a day before the storm. So, like I said, I had a mount.
You got to make sure. Well, you should.
I had a mount.
When you first hear the storm, you got to make sure that your generator works.
I had a mount.
You got to make sure you got your food
Right.
because I'll tell you right now, your shelves are empty of water, peanut butter,
and if you haven't
corned
fired up your
beef.
generator since 2 years ago with the last hurricane that came through, I guarantee you your carburetor's filled with shellac and shit, and you're going to have to get there and clean that whole goddamn thing out before it runs again.
And I guarantee you this also. There are guys down here in Florida that are buying up generators and put them in the trucks right now, and they are ready. They will be driving up there, and they will be charging you a premium of $200
that's
on it.
still stupid.
What?
That's still fucking... Dude, if you got... I brought you a generator. I gave Jimmy Hawkins a generator. I gave the whole goddamn world generators because I had power the whole way through.
No,
We
but
never
that's
lost
what they
power.
do, right?
But, dude, if you got extra shit, share with your buddies.
That's what they're going to do, though. That's what you're going to do. But to make sure you have the things you're going to try to – if you're stupid enough to try to weather it, right now, I mean, it's amazing that the liquor disappears first. Down here, on the Keys. I think that was the Keys, right?
Yeah, well, we're all functional alcoholics.
Yeah, there's no extra delivery. But as we wrap up the leading up to the hurricane, I remember the day of when I started calling down here. And David Kay was doing a live stream of near Bahama Avenue, I think it was, in Key Largo. And there's 5 to 4 feet of water going down the street. You see refrigerators, cars going down, which wasn't, considering it was a Category 4 hitting at Cudjoe Key, that
well, Big Pine,
and Big Pine, whatever you want to call it, that it was amazing that more damage didn't happen north.
That's 70 miles away.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the aftermath tomorrow, but we're going to still talk about today what we can do to prepare. So right now, if you're worried about losing money and not making a mistake, there's a lot more. If you don't have a structure like Bill had, and you don't have the generator, you don't have the supplies, you do not want to be stuck behind. It's best to go and beg, borrow, and might I say steal. That's
borrow.
the reason why I packed. I was packing heat when I went there. I didn't know where I was going.
If it's your neighbor's stuff that you're borrowing, make sure you return it with a 12-pack.
Yep. If you need propane, you're gonna have to cook. Yep. Shouldn't eat raw food. Make sure you fill. I mean, that's silliest things. Fill up your tub. Fill up every container you have with water.
And you're not filling up the tub for drinking water. You're filling up the tub so you can flush your toilet.
Yeah.
Well, down here we're going to worry.
Well, yeah, I mean, actually, save a little. If you have bleach, have some bleach with you.
because you could treat if you do need to use it for drinking water. If you get stuck, I mean that's extreme. There are chances that, but no, you fill up your big.
I'm not sure how we're going to work on the vacuum system if we ever get to that day.
What?
With flushing the toilets with flushed water, because we all got off the septics and now we're on the vacuum pumps.
Yep.
I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Well, yeah, I mean,
because I know the holding tanks of those little pump stations aren't too big.
Yeah, well,
my guitar player actually works for them.
I remember, and we'll talk about that tomorrow when we're going to talk about the pressure levels of the water when it goes south. And I mean, that's its energy potential drops off dramatically once you get down to Key West.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They got
big. They said there was a lot of pressure loss going down. I remember. We'll talk about tomorrow. I'm going to do a little research on that.
They got big pump stations with big generators.
I know, but I mean, volume.
You can see one right there.
No, but it was the volume. It was a volume of water that they had left when they're going. What are we looking at right now, Bill?
About 10 minutes left.
10 minutes away? Okay. We're going to do a little update since we're on there. You know what? There he is, Monkey Boy. How are we doing? He's here.
Laugh now, Monkey Boy.
Yeah. Laugh while you can, Monkey Boy.
Which, if you've not seen that movie, Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. You know, I saw an interview with Peter Weller not too long ago. Where
do you know about Peter Weller? What he's trained to do?
No.
He is a historian of
antiquities.
Every
bad
he's a professor.
Movie
I know, but he's a professor. Well, he was in a good one. He was in Into the Darkness of Star Trek. No, it's a new one.
Oh, okay.
It's a new one. It was actually a reboot, the reboot where Chris Pine's playing it.
Okay.
And they actually had a good
script for him?
Yeah, good script. Spock.
Damn.
The Spock was a good guy. Spock was very physical.
Yeah.
Spock was a badass.
I can't imagine Peter Weller doing good science fiction.
They used
anyway.
Khan was Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yep.
And Peter Weller was this admiral who it was pretty dark. His intentions were pretty dark. Wasn't that dark. He just went down the wrong path.
There you go.
And his daughter, he actually screwed his daughter over too. Who was the girl from She's Out of My League.
I don't know.
You never saw that one?
No.
Oh, it's Hot Blonde. But whatever it was, Peter Weller is a professor of antiquities, majoring in Roman history.
There you go.
Yeah. He knows Latin.
Cool.
He knows all about,
probably knows Attic Greek, too.
Hey, if you want to talk about, I had a heavy dose of American history. Roman history, it spans centuries and centuries.
Forever. But anyway,
I don't know. It's like 800 years.
Where we were going on this is a few years back on the internet. I caught an interview with him, and he was talking about that somebody's actually got the continuing adventures of Buckaroo Banzai in pre-production. They're talking about trying to do another one.
Oh, who's going to play him?
Peter Weller.
He's going to play him?
Yeah. He's going to do Buckaroo Banzai.
And, Buckaroo Banzai was a brain surgeon.
Astrophysicist.
He
stuntman.
A stuntman. He was a
guitar player.
rocket car. Well, that's for a band in the band.
Yeah.
Rocket car driver, because that's what he used to go into the eighth dimension.
All around Renaissance man.
Yeah,
he was my hero.
He was.
He was. I wanted to be Buckaroo Banzai.
He was cool too. Oh, you know what? He was cool. Was Billy Zane in that movie?
I don't think so.
The guy looked like James Franco was in it too.
Last
Franco was
last Billy Zane movie that was worth watching was probably Phantom.
Not Titanic?
No, The Phantom. That was actually a pretty good
Billy Zane
movie.
Billy Zane did go do the dark side.
Yeah, he went a little bit batshit crazy.
Shaved his head. Well, he had a big cameo. He was Derek Zoolander's backup. He backed him up in Zoolander when he had to get he got into a walk-off with Owen Wilson. I think they call it a walk-off when they had to go and do their looks and stuff like that. And Billy Zane was his backup for it. Well, tomorrow, I've been thinking about something with Luke. You know how cats get distracted? How do you get cats not to be distracted?
Feed them.
What?
Feed them.
Not only that, what do people use to get their attention?
You don't have a little cat toy?
Not just a cat toy. How do you do to get their stop doing something?
You don't have a joint on a stick?
I'm thinking like a squirt bottle. I think a little squirt bottle.
No.
I think it'd be funny.
No.
I'm not going to do it to Luke. That'd be humiliating. But I really feel like sometimes getting
I'm liking the joint on the stick, though. Just, hey, over here. Hey, over here.
I'm thinking about getting one of those little, what do they call those? You know what I'm talking about. The things that use the oils.
Oh, yeah. Now I do know. One of those little
vapes.
Vapor burner,
vape
oil
pens.
burners, whatever.
Vape pens. Yeah. It goes across the coil, and then it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big thing right now. Eventually, there'll be a day that Luke won't be controversial because pot will be legal, and there won't be no controversy. It'd be like Luke. It'd be like Luke talking about buying extra toilet paper. What's the big deal about it? Let's hear about it. So, I wonder if they're doing a cook-off. Oh, these guys come to the catch too. They were here. They were there on Sunday night.
Cool.
I had to corral. That was like corralling cats.
Hey, do you work Friday at the catch?
What?
You work Friday at the catch?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Are you there?
No, I had another gig, but I'll talk to you about that later.
Oh, what's the catch? You want to? What?
Yeah, no. I was just curious.
Eventually,
that's an off-air discussion.
My idea is eventually when we monetize the show, that I get more time off, and then I can. If I'm whatever bands that are associated with the band, obviously your band, whatever band you're playing with, we could do gigs there, and then I can get a sponsor to come in, and we can go and do it. Either you get a gig, and I can come in and provide some, actually more oomph to it because we can bring the sponsor in and provide it, or we provide the thing getting in there, and you come in as the band.
However you want to do it.
No, but it only works if you get more gigs, and it makes it easier, and you get more money.
There you go.
That's the way we do it. And you know what? We do have.
Right now
I just want to talk real briefly about. Once again, hopefully the owners of the business are listening right now. But last week, or earlier this week, I sent a message to the owners of the Lovers Boutique in Key Largo, with our intentions of doing a show from their establishment. And for our listeners, the Lovers Boutique is an adult store in Key Largo. And it started out, people thought, they mentioned it to me as a joke. And you know what? It's no joke. We are a show that we do have no boundaries. We don't have to be filthy for the sake of being filthy, but we don't have to be staid.
Boundaries of good taste.
Yeah, we don't have to be staid or puritanical for the sake of being staid and puritanical. There's plenty of shows that do from Walmart or some restaurant or something like that.
We need to get Lucy and go topless cart surfing in Walmart.
Well, we don't need to be arrested either.
We were actually, this is a friend of mine,
Cart surfing. So you put Lucy in the cart.
No, Lucy and I were both topless, wearing. We went in there wearing undersuits for our leathers, because she's a motorcycle racer as well. We went in there wearing undersuits for our leathers, which is basically a little skin tight leotard looking thing.
Skin color?
No, they're black.
Oh.
But I had a pair of shorts on. She had a pair of shorts on. Anyway, long story short, we got Sean Prieto, who ran a fantastic race shop down here for years, pushing the two of us through Walmart, and we were both topless cart surfing through Walmart. And Lucy is about 5 foot, maybe minus 2 inches. But you got to give her the whole 5 foot thing, or she gets angry.
Pissed off.
And she's got big old massive gazongas.
Yeah.
And so
we're
we're
wearing a skin suit, skin tight black suit.
No, we're actually topless. Both of us are topless at this point, and Sean is pushing us through.
On one of those big-ass carts?
Yes.
With her bear?
Yeah, bear. She was bare-breasted, I was bare-chested. And we're going through
Walmart.
Walmart.
If it was in
Valdosta, Georgia.
Really? If it was in France, they wouldn't even attempt to do it because it's
Val-
no big deal about seeing bare boobs.
In Valdosta, Georgia on a Sunday evening.
On a Sunday evening?
On a Sunday
Holy
evening.
crap. You couldn't buy beer then?
Yes, you can in Valdosta.
Oh, you can? Okay.
You can in Valdosta.
But I'm
The manager did ask us to leave.
Was she attractive?
Oh, yeah, she's a cutie.
A blonde, brunette?
Yeah, blonde.
Wow. Okay. Not that it matters. I'm glad we ended that. The Irma point up to the point of, I think we're right in the thick of the things with Irma. So tomorrow we're going to finish the Irma aftermath, how it hit Lakeland, and how we approached the return, and how you responded that day, Bill, when you were checking on our properties. But we're not going to talk about that right now.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Thank you very much for listening. This is Jim, the Keys bartender. I'm going to turn it over to Bill Wissinger.
Thank you all so much. We do appreciate you hanging out and listening to us. We'll be back tomorrow night from the Kitch around 5 p.m. or so. We're going to have Luke up there again. We do appreciate you all, and thank you again for your continued listenership, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you guys later.
The all-new Toyota RAV4 asks, what if? What if your ride was refined and rugged at the same time? Introducing the all-new RAV4 Hybrid. 208 combined horsepower and standard all-wheel drive make it the most powerful RAV4. Plus, with its head-turning style and breakaway speed, it's bound to change the way you think of a hybrid. The all-new RAV4 Hybrid. Toyota. Let's go places. Horsepower. Ratings achieved using the required premium unleaded gasoline with an octane rating of 91 or higher. Premium fuel is not used. Performance will decrease.
And now, a great moment in furniture history. One summer in the early 90s, the Bob behind Bob's Discount Furniture did something that would send shockwaves throughout the furniture business. He eliminated haggling and ended the unfair and insidious practice of artificially jacking up prices only to throw a phony sale. What remains unanswered is why he would end such a lucrative scheme.
It was the right thing to do.
It was the right thing to do. This has been another great moment in furniture history. Watch furniture history unfold at mybobs.com.